Today, we'll be talking about things that have nothing to do with music, but make it more effective. Or, in other words, things that you can do outside of your playing that don't have anything to do with the playing of the music itself, that are going to make your playing more successful, that are going to help it connect better with your audience. The first two things I'm going to be talking about are going to fall under an umbrella of presentation/staging. So first, we're going to talk about dress code. There really isn't a specific dress code. Some events might specify beforehand, something in particular. But for the most part, it's just kind of up to your own decision. And something that I like about music, because I like picking out my own stuff to wear, what I wear is going to depend on a lot of different factors. What is the occasion? Is it a wedding, a rehearsal dinner, a birthday party? And what is the setting? Is it outside, upscale? Is it casual? So for example, if it's a birthday party at somebody's backyard pool, I might wear a Hawaiian t-shirt, with some shorts and flip-flops. I might even underdress, I might not be worried about if other people are dressed nicer than me, because part of what I will want to try to accomplish is helping people feel like they can relax and not be worried about what they're wearing. Just make it a really low-key, relaxed vibe, and that I just fit in with that. I help facilitate that, and so that was part of my strategy on what I wear. I always want to be wearing something that I feel comfortable in. If the weather is cool and making me feel relaxed and nice like it is today, then I'll want to wear something that complements that. Chances are other people are going to be feeling similarly, and that approach will resonate. Let's take, for example, if it were kind of overcast and rainy and gloomy, and let's say when we're driving to the gig, or if we're driving early in the day, people are kind of in a frenzy and just a little on edge on the road, and you just get a sense that's kind of the climate of the day, the social climate. If I already have the sense that that's what people are experiencing, I wouldn't go wearing like a bright yellow on a day like that. It's just things to think about. It's something to think about. Style is complicated. People have their entire careers based on fashion and style, but it's something to think about, as it does impact everyone around you, and it will have an impact on your music. Stage plot number 2, you want to put some thought into your setup, not only from the standpoint of performance, but of presentation. Your setup should facilitate connection with the audience. For example, you don't want to put a large sign. If you have a sign, you don't want to put that right between you and your audience in a way that blocks their vision of you. Also, the cleanliness and orderliness of your setup is going to affect how people are thinking of you before you ever start playing. The visual impact of your setup should also facilitate a useful impression and reception of what's to come. For me personally, I don't insist on a perfectly orderly and pristine presentation with all cabling neatly organized and hidden. My persona and performance has a relaxed, down-to-earth quality that a perfect presentation is unnecessary and perhaps even unhelpful for. Another thing to think about is how you use the allotted space. Some staging areas will be very small, and you'll do well just to fit. Others, you will need to think about where to position your equipment and yourself so as to make the most of the staging opportunity. A simple thing to think about with respect to this is how far forward or backward do you position the mic stand. The farther forward it is, the more presence you're establishing, and the more you're encouraging interaction and participation. If it's a clear and cut background music gig, I try to find a sweet spot without going too far, indicating a desire for isolation. All right, we're going into the third one, arrival and greetings. When you first arrive at a gig, you're going to be meeting some of the most important people there. Good first impressions with these people are usually extremely helpful later on when the music is happening. The biggest hurdle to successful music is creating buy-in, where listeners accept that the music is socially safe and even desirable to partake in. You will make it a lot easier on yourself if you do some of the groundwork before ever playing a note. On some level, no matter how good the music is, folks will be looking around, taking cues from others on whether or not they should support it and participate. If you already have a handful of people in the room that have positive experiences of you, it will be that much easier to get approval from the group, especially since those people are likely central to the occasion. There is no need to stress out over these interactions. It's nothing complicated. Nothing complicated is needed. Saying hello, shaking hands, being grateful and ready for the opportunity is basically it. Timely arrival is important as well. Depending on the gig, I'll arrive anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours ahead of time. Arriving earlier than necessary shows respect for the occasion and builds rapport with your client. The last thing I'll say, something impromptu here, and just to kind of summarize the idea here, the overall idea here. A lot of people think of music performance or music work as the performance. That's the job. But I don't think this is the right way to think about it. I think you need to think about it as the job is everything. Everything that you do leading up to the performance itself and after the performance is part of the job. So, for example, in the weeks leading up to the event, are you eating well? Are you resting well? Are you rehearsing songs that are going to be played at that event? Are you making sure you're keeping your chops up? Are you not overdoing it, where you're burning your voice out and so your voice is really ready for the performance? It's hard to do everything perfectly. Sometimes you're really busy and your voice is just going to get a little worn out, and that's just the way it is. Also, the day of, when you are driving there, did you leave with an amount of time that allows you to drive in not too frenzied and stressful and rushed of a way? Because that's going to impact your emotions when you arrive and your state of mind when you arrive. And then that's going to impact people that you talk to. So you want to be sure that you arrive in a state of mind that's healthy and present and ready. And all of your interactions with people, that's part of the job. Your setup is part of the job. Your performance afterward, how you engage with people who just listen to you, how you leave. If you just finished and packed up and bolt out the door, that's going to have an impact. And so the only thing I'll tag on to that is, once you become aware of that, which I think is really important, so that's what kind of turns you into a professional, is becoming aware of everything that goes into a successful gig and taking responsibility for that. But then, so when you become aware of that, you don't want to turn into a robot. You don't want to turn into somebody that's just constantly on this professional mode. You need to have an awareness of that, take responsibility for it all, take it seriously, and then be yourself. Relax. Operate in a way that's with respect to everybody. You don't need to be on this mode where any little thing you do could mess up the gig. That's not the way to think about it. Within reason, approach it on a professional standard with consideration for everything that goes into it, and then relax and just do your work. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's helpful to you. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out.